So let me start the class. Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss on the design of steel beams. So we all know, I already discussed beams in your class itself. So I think we didn't solve problem on that, but we already discussed what do you mean beam, what are the different types of beams available, right? So there will be a girder, there will be a beam which used in the structures, girders we used in bridges, joist. So again, it will be a lateral beam, okay, and purlin. So we use in roof trusses, like spandrel, okay. So these are all different types of beams available. So based on its applications, we are going to use them. So here, beam is a structural member, so which is subjected to transverse loads and negligible axial loads. So that is how the beam is usually defined. So beam is a horizontal member which is subjected to lateral loads. So lateral loads in the sense, so we call it as a transverse load. So here you can see the example of a beam. So where it is subjected to UDL load. So here UDL load is a transverse load. Okay. So we are neglecting the axial loads, right? Because beams will have very less thrust load. Axial load can also be called as a thrust load. So that is how we are neglecting the axial loads. Okay. So if you see the bending stress diagram for the I section, so this is how the bending stress diagram looks like, and where the maximum bending stress will be above the neutral axis, and the maximum will be below the neutral axis when the section is symmetrical. Okay, when the section is unsymmetrical, so definitely there will be, no, yeah. See guys, mute yourself.
చింతపండు అదే పోస్ట్ ఆయన కాడికి
Guys, please mute yourself. Your voice is getting disturbed. The class. Okay, right. That is how. So when the section is unsymmetrical, you are supposed to calculate the neutral axis depth. Then the maximum stress is going to be calculated. Okay. So here, the above the neutral axis in beams, it will be the maximum compression bending stress. Below neutral axis, it will be the maximum tensile bending stress. Okay. So that is how we are going to design the beam. See, what are the different types of steel beams we are going to use? So we are having different kinds of steel sections, isn't it? So we can make use of rectangular section as a beam, and we can use even a hot rolled I sections as a beams. Okay, so these two are I beams, but the beam which is having more flange width, so we call them as a wide flange beams, and normal beams we call it as a normal I beams. Okay, welded I sections. So these are all built up I sections. Okay, and you can make use of even hot rolled steel sections also, like this, where the plates are supposed to be welded each other. Okay, and rolled channel sections like C sections can be used, built up sections connected with C section on the top of the compression plane. It can also be used as a beam. Okay, and boxed sections can also be used as a beam by joining two webs with the flanges. Okay, so when the load is more, when the transverse loads is more, so definitely they're going to use this kind of box sections for bridges. Okay, you can see these kind of steel girder bridges, which is called as a box steel girder bridges. Okay, so composite beams. So if you want to make a deck on the top of the compression plane, so you can make use of composite beams like this. So this is what the shear key. So this helps to connect concrete RCC deck to the beam compression plane. So this shear key is going to act as a connector, so where it is resisting the shear forces, so which is acting in between the deck and the compression plane. Okay, and you can even have an encased beams like this. Okay, so instead of providing a reinforcement in the beam, in the concrete beam, so you can provide an I section straight away. Okay, this is how the encased beams are going to be used. So here the bottom plane is going to be act as a tensile bending, as like a reinforcement, and the compression bending. So the top compression plane is going to be active. Okay, and you can see the tapered I beams also. So where the sections will be varying with within its length. Okay, like this. So this is a prismatic kind of section where you can see the cut in between the web, and this is the tapered I beam can also be used. So you can see these kind of tapered I beams in PEB structures. So PEB stands for pre-engineering building structures. Okay. So cold sections can also be used. So I already discussed many times. These cold rolled sections can be used for the frameworks. Okay. like castellated I-beams can be used, the cellular beams can be used. So these are all the steel structures you usually see in industrial steel buildings. Okay, so these you come up with the advanced steel designs. Okay, no worries. So right now you have to know what are the sections can be used for beams. Okay. So let me show you the types of beams where they can be used and at which applications can be used. Okay. So let me show you, these are all the different types of beam sections available and where it can be used for different span ranges and the applications where are supposed to be used. So this is very, very important. As a structural steel designer, you should be in a position to make use of the section for the different spans and for the different applications. So let me show you first angle. Angle can also be used as a beam. So which we use them majorly for roof trusses. Okay. So here angles can be used as a beam for the span 3 to 6 meters, and the applications is roof purlins, sheet rails, and where only light loads have to be carried. So this is the applications where we use angles as a beam. And let's see the cold formed sections. You can use them for 4 to 8 meters of spans, and which will be used for roof purlins, okay, sheeting rails, and again for light loads have to be carried out. So that's the reason why cold form sections can be majorly seen in roof trusses. Okay. And coming to rolled sections, hot rolled sections, which can be used for 1 to 30 meters of span directly. And the most frequently used type of sections, so proportion selected to eliminate several possible types of failures. So we use this hot rolled sections for most frequently used section and mother. Okay. So the available hot rolled sections as per steel table and as per the market concern is around 600 to 650 in depth. So more than 600, so you have to go for built up sections. So where we call them as a plate girders. Okay. And open web joists can be used for 4 to 40 meters of span. So you can make use of them for prefabricated using angles or tubes can also be used, and cords and round bar for web diagonals can. So this is the where we are going to use the open web joists and castled beams, compound sections, plate girders, box girders. These are all different type of sections and where you can see the different applications over here. Okay. So you can see the box girders can be used for cranes, it can be used for bridges. Okay. And the plate girders, even for the bridges you can use, and where the plate girder depth of the web will be more, so it is supposed to be strengthened in terms of its web by providing the web stiffness to the depth up to 3 to 4 meters of depth. See the maximum spans you're going to use box girders. Okay, so like this. See, have you seen our L&T Metro launching girder? So all the viaduct segments are lifted by this launching girder, isn't it? That launching girder is made up of box girder. That is the reason why it can able to carry all these segments and place on the top of the pier. Okay, that launching girder is made up of steel with the help of with the usage of the box girder. Okay, yeah. And next, behavior of steel beams. So basically, beams are classified into two types of beams: a short beam and long beam. The how the columns are classified: short column and long column. Short columns crush, long column buckles. In the same way, even beams are also classified. So the behavior is different for short and long beams. So where we have to use these short beams and where we have to use these long beams, we should know, right? So basically, short beams exhibit plastic behavior. See, I think a day before yesterday's class, I discussed on plastic analysis, which is very, very important for the design of the beams. So there you will come to know what do you mean plastic analysis, what do you mean collapse mechanism, right? How to calculate the collapse load for the different types of determinate and indeterminate beams. So here, basically short beams exhibit plastic behavior. So there is a possibility of plastic hinges at supports even at the load point. So when external loads are increased, so the extreme fibers yields. So that is what happens for the steel member. So when the extreme loads are increased, obviously the extreme fibers in your section will increase. Will increase in the sense it will yield. So what do you mean yielding? Yielding is nothing but elongating, right? So any further increase in load, so which results in yielding of the entire section. So obviously when the load is increased, the whole section will tends to yield. Okay. So a plastic hinge is formed at the maximum stress location. See what do you mean that? So let me show you one plastic hinge picture. Yeah. So sorry guys, here itself. Yeah. So these are the examples of plastic collapse mechanism in beams. See, you can see the cantilever and overhang beams. So where the plastic hinges are supposed to form. See, if you take cantilever beam, due to concentrated load, the hinge will form its support. So that means, so due to maximum load, there is a possibility of failure at joint. So because this is the point where the resistance takes place. So this is the point where the plastic hinges forms in the cantilever member. If you see the cantilever, overhang beam, so again you can see this is the point where the plastic hinge form and the first collapse takes place at this particular support. And if you see the another cantilever, so which is having two spans, so there is a possibility of plastic hinge here, okay, in the cantilever member. So if you see the single span beams like the simply supported beam, see where the plastic hinge formed at mid span, right, at the concentrated load point. So here you can see the plastic hinge formed at support and even at the load point. See, in simple or simply supported beams, plastic hinges forms at support and plastic hinges forms at the concentrated loads. So that is very, very important. So what this plastic hinges talks about, so that is the point where member start collapse. So you can see the first failure at that particular joint. Okay, so that is how the plastic collapse load and plastic mechanism plays a vital role in understanding the behavior of your section under maximum load. Okay, so that is how these plastic analysis is important to understand the behavior of the member at its collapse load. Okay, and you can see the multi-span beams also. So in multi-span beam, see how the member is having the plastic hinges at the constant load, plastic hinges there, and this is the point there. So this is just a behavior mark. It is we are not giving any kind of mechanism to the member. It is behaving on its own. So that's the reason why understanding the mechanism of this of that particular beams is very difficult. So you need to go through number of examples, then only you can able to understand where the plastic forms in the different types of beams. Okay, so in short beams especially, this collapse load and plastic mechanism majorly takes place. Okay, so that is why we are talking about plastic collapse mechanism, particularly for the short beams. Okay, yeah. So let me show you the behavior of short or restrained beams. So let's take a simply supported beam which is subjected to concentrated load. So this is the maximum bending moment. What is the maximum bending moment over here? Which is WL/4, isn't it? See, again, so let's see the point load which is acting at center of the span. So this is the cross section of the beam. So you can see the bending stress diagram. Here your stress is less than your yield stress, isn't it? Yeah. So this condition is under elastic condition. Yeah. So next, increase the load, right? What if you increase the load? What happens? Again, section will be an I section itself, and your bending stress will slightly yield, where your stress will be equal to the yield stress. Okay, and increase more load. What happens when you increase more load? Then the point where the collapse starts, collapse and the yielding starts, continuous yielding starts. And when your section is subjected to plastic deformation, that is why it is indicated in a red color, plastic deformation, where you can see the stress diagram, bending stress diagram, which is not linear. In these two pictures, you can see the linear where your stress is directly proportional to strain. But here it is not linear, it is non-linear. So where you can see the permanent deformation taking place in the member. Okay. So this is how the load increases. Still load increase. What happens? Then the collapse starts in the beam. So where the point is, the constant load is acting, this is the point where the first collapse starts, and complete it going to be a permanent non-linear curve. So this is the plastic bending stress diagram of your beam. Okay. So where your Fy is greater than the stress acting in the beam. Okay. So this is the variation how the beam is subjected to load and how it is going to be designed. See, in plastic analysis, in elastic analysis, we design beams under these first two categories. In plastic analysis, we consider beam under its collapse load, and we design this member under this last category. Okay. See why considering this plastic hinge. See, when you try to design your member under its plastic under its last collapse load, you can make the section more economical. Okay, by that we can able to sustain your section under its maximum load. It can show its strength till its failure. So that is how this last mechanism plays an important role in your plastic analysis, which makes your structure economical, where it can reduce the cross section of the members. So that is how the behavior of short or restrained beams takes place. Okay. Yeah. So again, you can see the behavior of short beams like this. So this is what the variation of your bending stresses from elastic stage to plastic stage. Okay. See here, it is elastic. It is changing from elastic to plastic, and you can see both plastic and elastic here, and it's completely plastic over here. Okay. This is how the behavior of short beam takes place. So you can see the picture of collapse mechanism in a fixed beam also. In fixed beams, the plastic hinges forms at supports first. Okay, so this is one hinge and this is the other hinge. So this is the collapse mechanism. Plastic hinge forms at the span and even at the support conditions. Okay, so this is the bend moment diagrams when it is not loaded, and when it is loaded. So this is the bend moment diagram. See, the maximum plastic moment is more in the collapse mechanisms. Okay, so what the statement is briefing you about: the beam fails by a collapse mechanism after sufficient number of plastic hinges are formed along the length. Okay, ఎప్పుడు member deform అవుతుంది, ఎప్పుడు member collapse అవుతుంది, when it forms it's a plastic deformation, then only member will start collapse. Okay, so that is how you need to understand the behavior of your short beams. Right, the moment curvature, I think we already discussed this. This is how the beams are classified into different categories. So till a point, this is called slender sections. Okay, from A to C we call it as a semi-compact section. From C to D we call it as a compact section. From D to E we call it as a plastic section, isn't it? So man already beams concepts discuss chesam kadama in our class. So you can see these pictures over here. I mean, even in your notes also. So from 0 to, I mean, from axis to A, we call it as a slender section. Okay. From A to C, we call it as a semi-compact section. From C to D, we call it as a compact section. From D to E, we call it as a plastic section. Okay. So please try to understand that. So if you want, I will just put a pointer and I will show you. So this is a slender section, and this is a semi-compact section. Okay, and this is a compact section, and this is a plastic section. So we design members under this section, and we have to see whether the section is falling under plastic section or compact section or semi-compact section. Fall avutundi ledha manam check cheyali. How we are going to check? We are going to check as per the IS 800-2007 code, which gives about different sections in table number 2, I hope. Okay, in table number 2 you can go through. All the sections are based on its width to thickness ratio. Okay. Yeah. So now behavior of beams you can see. So this is a practical picture of beam. So where it is subjected to transverse loads. Okay. So beams usually deflect laterally. Why? Because there will be buckling takes place in the web of the beam. So by that it is supposed to be supported laterally also. This is how the lateral support takes place in a beam. Okay, so this is how the lateral cross bracings will view, and this is the secondary beam, how it is going to be produced in the lateral direction. Okay, so beams with restrained compression flange reaches plastic movement capacity. So can you tell me what kind of beam it is? So this is called, what is this? Laterally supported beam. So I already discussed in your class. So when a beam is supported laterally, we call it as a laterally supported beam. When the beam is not supported laterally, it should call it as a laterally unsupported beam. So the practical picture which is showing here, so you can clearly observe from this point to this point, the top compression flanges are not supported. By this can be called as a laterally unsupported beam, isn't it? We can call it as a lateral unsupported beam. But here in the top picture, you can see the top compression flange of this beam and this beam was supported laterally, isn't it? So supported laterally. So that is how this is called a laterally supported beam. So you can add a laterally supported beam, laterally unsupported beam. Okay. So behavior of beams like this. So what type of failure you can see in the beam? So if the beams are long, so earlier we have seen how the short beams usually fail and what are the conditions takes place in the short beams. So let me show you the behavior of beams in long. So they fail by lateral torsional buckling mode before attaining the plastic moment capacity. So ANT short beams will fail due to formation of plastic hinges. But in long beams, what happens? The beam will fail under lateral torsional buckling before it attaining its plastic moment capacity or forming its plastic hinge. Why? Because long beams in the sense, see, simple concept. So when you want to make beam in long span, what you are going to increase? So when you increase the span of the beam, you are going to increase the depth, isn't it? So why? Because your bending strength increases based on the depth. When you increase the depth of your beam, it increases its bending strength. Yes or no? Right? So it depends on the depth. So when the span increases, you have to increase the depth of the beam to increase its bending stress. So ఎప్పుడైతే మీరు డెప్త్ పెంచుతారో what happens, your members, I mean elements in your section will become slender. So because of this slenderness, there is a lateral torsional buckling takes place in the member. So why? Because your member is made up of different plates, isn't it? Top compression plate, web is also made up of plate, and bottom tensile flange is also made up of plates. So when plates are very slender, based on its length, what happens? There is a lateral torsional buckling takes place. So that's the reason why in long beams you have to first make sure that your beam should not have any kind of lateral torsional buckling. Then only you can see the plastic hinges formation in the beam. So the other failure modes of the beams, which includes local buckling, right? So local buckling in the compression flange, web will undergo shear, and web in compression due to concentrated load. చూడండి ఈ మూడు ఈ I sections ki, your beam sections will undergo. What the first one? Flange and compression. So in compression flange, there is a local buckling takes place, and web. And so this is the top compression flange, this is the bottom tensile flange, and this is the web. Web will undergo shear. Okay, web web will undergo shear, and you can have even web will undergo compression due to concentrated load. Why? Because see, at support condition, let us take this is as a support condition. Right? So at support, this web will undergo compression, isn't it? Why? Because it should transfer load vertically downwards to the support. So by that, this web will undergo even compression also. Okay. Apart from the lateral force, the web will carry shear, along with web will carry even the compression due to the concentrated load. Okay, that I need to understand it clearly. So next, local failure by. So this is the buckling failure, this is the local failure. How your long beams are supposed to fail under local failure? Yield of web by shear. So web will undergo yielding. Yielding ante enti elongation jarugutundi, and web will undergo crushing. Web will undergo crippling and buckling of thin flanges. So ee flanges buckle kuda avutayi annamata. Okay, let me show you the pictures how the crushing, yielding, buckling takes place in the web. So we call it as a local failure in the beams. I will show you the pictures. So this is the local buckling due to compression. See how your top compression flange and bottom tensile flanges are buckling. So this is the local buckling of a compression members. Okay, this is how your beams will buckle. Right? This is an I-beam, and this is the box section. In the box section, webs will buckle, even the compression flanges also will buckle. Okay. And this is the classification as just now I discussed, right? So this point is the slender point. This is called a slender section. So this section is called semi-compact section. This is called compact section, and this is called a plastic section. So first you have to choose your section, and let's check whether it is falling under which class anedi manam check cheyali. Okay. So semi-compact section, slender sections falls under elastic analysis. Compact section and plastic section falls under plastic analysis. Okay. And yeah, the definition of B, D, TF, and TW has shown in this picture. I think we all know B stands for width of the section, D stands for depth of the section, TF stands for the thickness of the flange, TW stands for the thickness of the web. So enduku veeti gurinchi maatladutunnanu? Why? Because so these dimensional parameters are very, very important to understand the aspect ratio of your section. Okay. So based on the thickness to width ratio, your top compression flange is going to be okay designed. So ఇది ప్రాపర్ గా థిక్నెస్ లేదనుకోండి, your compression flange will buckle. అర్థమవుతుందా? So like that. So by that, every section is to be designed in such a way that it should always satisfy its aspect ratio. మీరు ఎంత width ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తున్నారో అంత థిక్నెస్ కంపల్సరీ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ ద parameters where you have to understand. ఈ సెక్షన్స్ మీరు ఒకసారి go through అవ్వండమ్మా. Here you can see where you can what do you mean width, what do you mean depth, what do you mean thickness of the flange, what do you mean the thickness of the web అనేది మీకు ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have this. I want to show you, I think these designs we already discussed together, right? So this is what you can able to see the same table in your code from table number 2. Okay, table number 2 lo limiting width to thickness ratio of plate elements, you can see this table. So based on this table only, you are going to decide whether your beam falls under plastic section, compact section, semi compact section anedi manam chustam annamata. Okay, so this table was taken from IS 800-2007. So you can just go through there and where you are going to decide the type of section over there. Okay, and this is the design of the beams. So we always satisfy your bending moment should always be less than the design bending strength of your beam. So this is the condition, and we already discussed how the laterally supported beams are going to be designed, how the laterally unsupported beams are going to be designed. Ivanni manam already discussed chesam, isn't it? Okay, so now let me show you how the beam buckling, crippling takes place. One second, guys. This is another presentation. Yeah, this is the one. Yes, see, right? So the other failure modes are like this. See, when the beam is subjected to more lateral forces, so what kind of beam it is? This is a long beam. So when the long beams are subjected to transverse force, so you can see the failures in a beam before the plastic hinges forms. ఎటువంటి failures చూస్తారు చూడండి. So this is what the crippling. అర్థమవుతుందా? Crippling is this. So this is what the crippling failure. Okay, and you can see buckling even in the web of the section. Enduko buckling? Why? Because your web is slender, so which is acting as a long column ga act avutundi akkada. Why? Because where the depth of your beam is more, so where webs undergo buckling. And you can see even crushing of the web due to compression force. Enduko compression force? See, you can see this force is going to be resisted over here in the form of a compression. Yeah, there is only 10 minutes left. So this is how the reaction takes place. Okay, so that is the reason why your webs will undergo even crushing at this particular joint. Ee joint దగ్గర crushing కూడా జరుగుతుంది. So these are the modes of failures takes place in your beam sections other than bending. ఇక్కడ మీరు ఎక్కడైనా beam లో bending చూస్తున్నారా? No, there is no bending, because bending always takes place when the plastic hinges forms in the beam. ఎప్పుడైతే beam లో plastic hinge form అవుతుందో, then you can see the permanent deformation in the member. ఆ plastic hinge form అవ్వక ముందు ఏమవుతుంది అంటే your beam will undergo crippling, undergo buckling, undergo crushing. So by that you have to design your beam under crushing, crippling and buckling. Then you have to design your beam under bending. Okay, bending, shear force and deflection. అర్థమవుతుందా? అది నెక్స్ట్ కేటగిరీ. వేటికి? లాంగ్ బీమ్స్. ఓకే, షార్ట్ బీమ్స్ కి straight away you can check your short beam for shear, short beams for bending and short beams for deflection. So where shear and bending comes under the collapse strength and deflection comes under the serviceability criteria. Okay, so that is what I need to understand the other failure modes of the beams. అర్థమవుతుందా? So that is a major difference between the long beam and short beam.
Screen sharing రావట్లేదు సార్.
రావట్లేదా?
సార్ స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ రావట్లేదు.
One second.
ఎస్ సార్.
మరి ఇందాకే చెప్పలేదు మీరు.
అది లోడింగ్ అవుతుంది సార్.
ఒక్క నిమిషం. ఇప్పుడు
ఇంకా లోడింగ్ అవుతుంది సార్. వచ్చింది సార్.
Sorry. I will explain you again. No issue. Okay. So these are the other failure modes takes place in long beams. See, as I told you, short beams always undergo shear, bending and deflection. Long beams, before forming the plastic hinge, they fail first in this way. So it will fail under web crippling anamata. Chusara web ela cripple avutundo, right? And then you can see even the web buckling takes place as the web is very slender, and you can see even the web crushing also takes place like this. Okay, the red mark ichchen chudandi. So this is how. So due to this lateral force, so there will be a resistance from the web. Okay, so where at this joint there is a crushing takes place. Okay, so this is how you have to design your long beams first. Long beams eppudu web safe ga undali under crippling, buckling and crushing. Then you can design your beam for shear, bending and deflection. Okay, so this is the other failure modes of the beams. And yeah, shear areas ఇది కూడా మనం ఆల్రెడీ క్లాస్ లో చూసాం. And for the I section, the shear area will be h into tw. Okay, what do you mean h? H is the depth of your web. Web depth మొత్తం ఎందుకు తీసుకుంటున్నాను మీరు అందరూ అనొచ్చు, సార్ వెబ్ అంటే ఇది ఒక్కటే కదా. Okay, why I took web of the whole section? చూడండి, so this is the complete web. ఎందుకు web అనే పోర్షన్ ప్లేన్స్ లో కూడా మిక్స్ అవుతుంది, right? So if you want to show me, I mean, so అందరికి కనిపిస్తుంది కదా, ఎన్నోషన్ లో చూడండి ఒకసారి. So this is the portion. Okay, so ఈ పోర్షన్ మీరు చూస్తున్నారా. So why I took the shear area as h into tw? Why? Because this is a hot rolled member. In hot rolled member, web will mix up with the flanges also. Okay, and tw is the thickness of the web. And one more thing, when you calculate the what is that width of your flange, how to calculate the width of the flange, you know. So when you calculate the width of the flange, you have to take the width of the flange half of this one. Idi maatrame meeku width of the flange ga teesukovali. Why? Because the center portion of the flange is involving in the web. Web lo mix ayipotundi kabatti. So when you are calculating the width of your flange, you have to take width of the flange only half of the portion. Ee half it teesukovali. Why? So when the two I sections are placed like this, okay, so half of this section will comes under, okay, width of the flange, and half of the portion comes under the width of the flange. Okay, and for C channel section, what is the shear area? It's all important. Shear area మీకు గాని అర్థం తెలియకపోతే you can't design your member for crippling, buckling or crushing. Okay, you have to know the shear area. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, C sections కి shear area ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తారో h into tw. Okay, and for built up sections, d into tw. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, d is not mixing up with the flanges. ఎందుకు? d ఇది built up member ఎలా ఉంటుంది? This flange and this flange are welded here కదా, ఇక్కడ మనం వెల్డింగ్ చేస్తాం. So the depth of your web is only at this part, right? Okay, and that's why in built up sections your shear area is d into tw మాత్రమే. అది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. Okay, when you are selecting your section as a hot rolled section, your shear area will be this. When you are taking your design for built up section, your shear area will be d into tw. That's all important. Please try to concentrate on. And you can go with the section rectangular hollow section. The shear area will be a into h by b plus h. Okay, so enduku a into h antunnanu, here these are going to be act as a shear area endukante ave maniki webs annamata. Okay, so here this is acting as a shear area. Okay, so in circular hollow section, shear area is 2 into a by I. Sorry, 2 into a by pi. Okay, so these areas are important. Don't bother about these sections, because we design your beam sections with I sections, sometimes with the C sections. We never use this for our exam point of view, but practical they may use hollow sections, rectangular sections also for you know, as a beams, right? And I think in the design we already explained you how to check for shear kada, idantha మనం already discuss chesam. So you can go through the notes amma. And anyway, ఇది only presentation మాత్రమే. You can please follow my notes, I mean my lecture, where I am discussing every problem over there. Okay, ఇప్పుడు నేను 10:30కి I gonna start with skip and seated connection problem చేస్తున్నాను. After completion of that problem, if time there, I gonna start with the beams. Okay, so beams start చేస్తాను. Beams start చేసి I will do a lot of problems on the beams. Okay, So I will share this presentation. So please, you can go through all these slides, okay, and you can relate these concepts with the lecture which we already discussed in our class. Okay. Okay, there is one example problem also. Okay, you can go through that. So let me stop that screen sharing.
Sir, presentation share చేయరా?
నేను ప్రెజెంటేషన్ ప్రతిసారి షేర్ చేస్తున్నానమ్మా. మీకు మీరు మిథున్ అడగండి. జస్ట్ ఐఎమ్ షేరింగ్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ టు మిథున్, ఐఎమ్ షేరింగ్ టు ఆల్ స్టూడెంట్స్. ద ఓన్లీ థింగ్ ఈస్ ఈ వాట్సాప్ లో ఏమవుతుందంటే లాట్ ఆఫ్ మెసేజెస్ ఆర్ కమింగ్ అండ్ వేర్ మై ప్రెజెంటేషన్స్ ఆర్ ఓవర్లుక్, అది పైకి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాయి, రైట్? See, whenever my class finished, I'm sharing all my presentations. You can ask Mithun or you can go through your WhatsApp for A section group. I'm sharing all the presentations. For the 5 welfare, just go through them. Okay. Even after completion of this presentation, I will share the PPT to your WhatsApp group. Okay, na? Right? No worries. Right? Yeah. So
Okay, sir.
we're almost done. So it's only 1 minute left. Any doubts in this designing of the beams? నేను డిజైన్ ఫార్ములాస్, డిజైన్ స్టెప్స్ నేను ఇక్కడ చెప్పట్లేదమ్మా, బికాస్ వీ కాంట్ డిస్కస్ దాట్ ఇన్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్. సో వైల్ గివింగ్ నోట్స్ నేను లెక్చర్ చెప్తాను కదా, అక్కడ మీకు ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే మీరు అడగచ్చు. సో బికాస్ దట్ ఈస్ ఓన్లీ టైమ్ ఐఎమ్ హ్యావింగ్ గైస్, 10:30 to 12:30 ఐఎమ్ డీలింగ్ విత్ యునో ప్రాబ్లమ్స్. కాబట్టి అక్కడ మీరు లైవ్కి వచ్చారు అంటే అక్కడ మీకు ఏ డౌట్స్ ఉన్నా నేను కనుక్కుంటాను. బికాస్ ఐ థింక్ 40 minutes is not at all enough to discuss this design problems or design steps over here. Okay, right? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Are you satisfied with this? So this PPT will definitely give a lot of information, and please try to concentrate more on this plastic analysis, because that is very, very important for gate point of view. Okay, when you understand that, then only you can able to understand the design of beams particularly. Okay, right? So let me finish this session today, and if anyone interested, so no other classes, then you can join in Facebook Live by 10:30. So where I'm going to start the problem on stiff and secret connection. Okay, thank you so much, guys.